I changed this about my putt, and you should too. So let's get into it.
First throws of the day, playing a little doubles here at Allen Tree Farm. See how this goes. Oh boy, little windy.
A little windy out. So in my last video, I talked about playing more tournaments this year and practicing more. And the next night, I heard Kevin on Antonio's podcast, Teach to Play Disc Golf podcast, talk about if he were going to start over, he would only start with practicing straddle putting.
Yeah, I do think that it is, you know, a more natural position. You have that sort of straddle putt position when you're playing shortstop or you're taking free throws. And yeah, if I was going to tell a new player, you know, maybe what they should think about doing first as far as putting goes, I would say straddle putting. All right, so I'm going to try and get this close. So Marissa, we're playing alternate shot double, so we want to try and get Marissa a nice little close straddle putt here. I wouldn't say it's close, 20 feet.
That'll do.
Nice team par.
Boom shakalaka. Like Kevin said, it's a bit more of a natural movement in sports to straddle putt. And here on the East Coast, dealing with all the trees, we find ourselves needing to straddle putt about 50% of the time. Like this, or like this, or like this. We end up having to straddle putt around 50% of the time. We don't practice them. We should be practicing them. And honestly, you can always straddle putt. You can't always stagger putt. So we should be practicing them and just sticking with the straddle putt all the time. So Kevin mentioned some of this in principle number 8 of the Putt Confidently approach, and I'm going with it. 100%, I'm gonna be focusing totally on straddle putting. In practice, at least 90%, and on course, I'd say 100% straddle putting. I'm trying to reset my putt. If you're trying to reset your putt, I would encourage you to do the same. There's one thing that Kevin didn't mention, and that's where to gain the power and the momentum with the straddle putt. In a recent putting session, I was having a little bit of trouble with coming up short. So I learned that that power and that momentum is gonna come from the posterior muscle chain. And we're gonna be pushing off our heels to our brace on the balls of our feet. So it's all about hitting that brace that we talked about in principle number 3. So we're gonna think about gaining our power and our momentum from the heel. Think doing a squat in the gym to the balls of your feet. Just kind of that motion. Heel, balls, heel, brace. This is something that I've been working on for about a week now, and I really, really like it. I'm definitely sticking with it. Paint the pole, load on the balls of the feet, and hit our brace. Before I had this realization, I was just coming from a totally flat foot. I had no power, no momentum going, and I was coming up short. And now I have been in the gym recently, and I've been doing squats, and I kind of made that connection in my head of where to get that power from.
Yeah, so I think that's really good advice from Marissa there. I think that sometimes, like, yeah, I forgot to say those things in principle number 8. You sort of just, as an advanced player, just forget, you know, certain fundamentals that are very important. And yeah, pressing off the heel into the ball of the foot in a straddle putt is absolutely crucial aspect. And she has been doing the squats and making these connections. And, you know, as a bystander on course, she has been making a lot more putts. And when she does miss, I mean, they're just sitting right next to the basket. So yeah, I think this is just a great tip for beginners, for advanced players. If you need to reset your putt, straddle putting, I think, is the way to do it. And what I said on Antonio's podcast, you know, I'll stick with that. I think that if I was going to reset, especially living on the East Coast, if I was going to start again with a putting style, it would be the straddle putt exclusively or mostly. And you can see it working for Kristen Tatar. Nate Sexton used to do it. Very consistent golfers oftentimes are straddle putt only putters. You know, there's some proof in that pudding.
Hopefully this helps you out. As always, feel free to leave questions, comments down below, and look out for our next video. We drop them every Thursday. We will catch you later.